Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of PNB is Listening. I am Sarah Kolat. I am the executive assistant to Peter Bowl, and today I'm going to introduce our new dancers to the company this season. We have Ginabel Peterson and Lily Wills and James Rogers. So welcome, everyone. I'm really excited that we were able to make this time today. It's such a beautiful October day, so I really appreciate you spending your lunch hour with me in this space so that we can talk. The last time we met was before Rep 1 and before First Look, and now you've had a week off, and now we've jumped right back in preparing for Rep 2, Rep 4, and Nutcracker, and so everything is a little crazy and awesome, and I can't wait to talk to you all about it today. So let's start with some introductions and just kind of a basic question of how you got into ballet. So Gina, do you want to introduce yourself and talk about how you got into ballet and how you ended up at PNB?
Hi, I'm Gina. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I started dancing when I was in kindergarten. My parents just put me in it as like an extra curricular, something to do after school. And I just fell in love with it and stuck with it all these years. And then I came to PNB from Ballet West 2.
Wonderful. What about you, Lily?
I am mostly from Los Angeles. I was actually born in Seattle, and I moved to Portland in high school, so I've been on the West Coast my, entire young life. I started dancing once I moved up to Oregon at OBT school. I was 14, and I was with Carolina Ballet for 5 seasons before joining PNB this year.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. What about you, James?
Hi, yeah, I'm James. I got into ballet through martial arts and musical theater, and then fell in love with it when I was a teen, and went to North Carolina School of the Arts for a year, joined Houston Ballet 2, and then from there spent 5 years in Kansas City Ballet before coming here.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, everyone. So you guys came at a really interesting moment in both in ballet culture and in just our time in this world. Joining a company during COVID and being here for the first return to stage in 18 months. Now that you've all had your PNB premiere, can you share a little bit about what it's like to come into a new company in this really particular age and how it felt to make your premiere? We'll start at the bottom this time. James, why don't you start us out?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible to be back on stage, especially in a theater that's as beautiful as McCall Hall. And, surreal, I think, coming into a company during COVID, we're still in the midst of finding our way through this pandemic. And so people are wearing masks, and then to see everybody's faces on stage and, get that complete picture of everyone's dance was really special. And, to be with live music also was surreal. It's been so long since I've danced to a full orchestra of professional musicians, and it was really surreal.
That's so interesting that you mentioned the masks, because, it's weird to come into a place where you've never seen people's full faces. As you all know, I am also new to the company. I started about a month before you all did, and I really didn't realize that nobody had seen my face other than this, because I look at your headshots kind of all day, and so I know what your faces look like. And it was just really interesting to me over Tech Week and First Look and Rep 1 that like people are like, oh wow, you have a face and it exists. It's so strange to think that we spend so much time just engaging with our eyes. It was really such a special moment to be able to see everyone and their face and their smile, and it's kind of cool. Very cool.
Totally.
Lily, what about you?
Yeah, surreal is definitely the word because it felt so magical, like just dancing with everybody. We did diamonds for first look, and like in that you're opposite, your people, and you get to like look across the stage and people are smiling back at you, and you're in the sparkly tutu and you're dancing to the live music, and it just felt so good. Like I was like, oh, this is what I missed. This is what, I do this for. And it felt really, really good. It was also surreal because I used to come up and see PNB when I was a teenager, and like I love this theater, I love this company, and all of a sudden I'm on the other side of the curtain, and it's so bizarre. I'm like, really? This is crazy. But it felt really, really good dancing with everybody up there.
I'm sure. What about you, Gina?
I feel like James and Lily kind of said it all. Surreal is definitely the right word. There were definitely like many moments before we even did like the dress rehearsal. I was like, is this even real? Even just like putting on my makeup and doing my hair before the performance felt so magical. And the whole thing with the masks too, like I remember there's this one part in Diamonds where Leah and I, well, actually 2 parts in Diamonds where we look across at each other, and I could tell she was smiling because I could see like her cheeks, go up. So then it was so nice on stage to actually see her full smile. So yeah.
Oh, well, it was really like, it was so moving to watch First Look, and just these like little like tidbits, these wonderful scenes for everyone in the audience to experience. And so congratulations on your premieres. We're so excited to see more. One thing that I just thought of, and this comes from a conversation, Lily, you and I had about streaming access for your family, so that they could watch you make this premiere. This is a totally new part of ballet and performing arts, is that we're now able to share, far and wide with our loved ones, and the greater ballet fan community as a whole. How do you think the move to digital, how it's going to change ballet, and are we here to stay? Is this something that's just going to keep on going, and do you embrace it? Does anyone want to take a stab at that one?
I just think it's really important for ballet as an art form to move into digital, a digital presence. Like it's a very classical art form. It's hard for people to relate to it a lot of times, I think, because they don't know a lot about it. And PNB has done such a great job of putting itself out there for more people to enjoy. And I think that's just a huge step in the right direction of keeping this art form alive. We need more people to see that what we're doing isn't always like classical ballet and tutus, and we love that, but like we're doing some pretty cool contemporary stuff that I think a lot more people can relate to and feel something with. And since it's more accessible through these digital platforms, I just feel like it's the most important thing moving forward for us.
Yeah. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think it's hugely important to enter the digital age as an art form. I think that there's really interesting dialogues to be had between video and dance. And, I think that film or video are, capturing movement in a series of still images. And I think that there's a lot of resonance with that in dance, where it's there are frozen moments, and then there are fluid moments, and how that interplay happens is really interesting. I remember my former company, we were exploring that as well, and PNB had a beautiful digital season last year that I watched from afar that I was a big fan of. And so I'm excited to see what the company continues to do with that, and push the boundaries of what a dance film looks like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Gina, did your family watch First Look?
Oh no, they didn't. I didn't realize until after the fact that they could. Yeah, I really wish they could have. I know they would have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's nice that like going forward, we have this digital season that they can then watch afterwards if they're not able to get up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sent them the link for Rep 1. So
good.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That'll be great. And Lily, were your I know your mom really wanted to watch.
Oh yeah, we had a whole watching party. My whole family saw it.
Cute.
They were I got a video from my boyfriend too, and his whole family watched it. They put it on the TV, and everybody's standing really close to the screen trying to see where I am as the camera pans. They're like, "Where'd she go?" It was like a little game.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was really cute.
So ballet is in such there's the digital part of it, and then there's the cultural part of ballet that's really transitioning right now, and you guys are really at the core of it, your generation. In choosing PNB and thinking about what PNB is doing to propel forward and make ballet more accessible, how do you see yourself working within that goal? What do you do when you go to the studio that's helping to make ballet more accessible to the masses? Gina, what do you think of that?
Well, I think, seeing, representation is so important. So I feel like just my presence really helps with that. And I think, and I try to connect too with the young dancers in the school, the PDs. I got this past weekend, I got coffee with Xylus, and it was just so nice to just talk to him and share our stories, and just knowing that we're here for one another. So I think that's super important, because I know growing up there was I really only had Misty to look up to, and I remember whenever I would tell someone that I was a dancer, they'd be like, "Oh, do you know who Misty Copeland is?" And I was gifted her book by multiple people, and that's great and all, but it would have been nice to have more than just Misty to look up to. And as I and then when I was in the school at Miami City, it was so nice to finally see more brown spaces, because there's so many Brazilians and in the company. So that made me feel more at home. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that across, the whole country, more companies will, hire more dancers of color, so other young kids going up through the school can see that and feel inspired and feel welcome. And just, because you aren't going to relate to one person's story,
We had, hi, Jonathan.
Hi, everyone. I apologize for being so late.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. We had talked about in our pre-discussion about how the school is set up here, where all of the kids can, both the PDs who are, you know, young professionals about to launch their professional careers, and then also all of the students can just sit and watch company classes and company rehearsals, which, you know, says a lot about what people are able to see coming into ballet class and being able to watch people who look like them and not just one figure in all of American ballet. You know, there's so many. We talked about the tights, which is always is now a topic of conversation. What do you know, how do you all feel about, you know, this transition out of pink tights into, you know, Flesh, the ballet bronze shoes, this idea that people can be individuals on stage rather than all conforming as much as historical ballet has perpetuated for, you know, centuries.
I think it's very important in feel included in the ballet world. It's really a matter of representation. You know, I got a little bit of what Gina was saying. Being a student, you know, seeing people who looks like you, and you seeing your culture, you know, mirroring, really having that mirror in front of you, and realizing that it's possible to, and acknowledging actually that it's possible for you to become that ballerina. It is possible to become that dancer. So for me growing up, you know, like Gina said, we saw Misty Copeland. I was able to see Carlos Acosta in Europe, as well as Eric Underwood, who was actually, he started his career here at PNB. And so it is really important to have these figures, and we have Kian as well at PNB. We've had Karel Cruz, and funny enough, when I auditioned to PNB, the first person that I talked to was Karel Cruz, because and this is the importance of representation. This is the importance of having your the color of your skin tights, right, matching, and so and I think those things, when it comes to your tights, when it comes to tutus, many things, it's really a part of it's really important because it talks about inclusion, it talks about participation, it talks about diversity in ballet, and this is what we are seeing right now. We're getting more excited, we're getting encouraged, and you know, we have role models as well. So it's very important to see this transition right now in the ballet world, and I'm very proud to be here in this moment and part of it in this time in my career and in our career as well as a group with PNB.
Jonathan, on that, will you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Batista, and I'm a new dance company, and I joined all these beautiful people here. Yeah, I'm proud to be a part of this. Yes, I'm the late one. I really apologize.
Totally fine. How did you feel making your premiere a couple weeks back? Congratulations, by the way. How did that feel?
You. I had all the feelings, really, and I really allowed myself to go through it all. I was nervous, I was happy, I was confused, I was, you know, it's a new space. And I think what was really cool of it all, it was just feeling supported by everyone around me, you know, the support, the love, the joy. And so I was able to just get onto stage and just have a great time.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about why PNB, like what about this company particularly attracted you? And Lily, you've mentioned that you followed PNB as a child, you'd come up here and watch performances at McCaw Hall. James, you mentioned that you followed the digital season last year, but going into auditions last year and having them all be digital, why did you audition for a PNB? And what did you feel about a digital audition, like using tapes instead of having to travel all over the country to different companies? How was that different? What about it would be good to keep? And what did you lose in not being able to do auditions in person? Let's start with James.
I mean, I think one of the advantages that you gain is you spend a lot less money auditioning around. You know, you don't have to travel. You don't have to find a place to stay. It's generally much easier on you as the individual. I think one of the unfortunate things is you kind of, at least I had a sense of going into auditions whether or not I was going to get the job even before the audition had happened, because so much of the screening is done through your digital audition materials. You show up to the audition and I think you very quickly get a sense of what's going to happen, or at least I did. So I felt like that in a way wasn't amazing, because there is such a special aspect of this art form that is live and in person, and people appear differently on videos than they do in person. And I think there's a ineffable quality that some people have that can so easily be missed or misconstrued on the video. So pros and cons. Was part of the question why I auditioned for PNB?
Yeah.
PNB, I mean, internationally renowned company, right? I think one of the things that drew me from the get-go was the rep that PNB has and the types of people that are in the organization and the types of people that they attract to come be guests at the organization. So the personnel and the incredible rep.
Wonderful. Lily, what about you?
Well, for me, I mean, I always knew that I wanted to dance at PNB. It was always my dream. Ever since I first saw them, I was like, wow, the rep and these dancers, like this is the dream. And you know, I always wanted to dance here, but I never really like considered it, you know, even possible for me. So, you know, my journey getting here, it did not look like how I thought it would, but it it was really weird auditioning during a pandemic. Like I had hip surgery last year, and I spent, you know, 6 months recovering from that, and then I just went into like, you know, like focus mode and like auditioned and made my materials and like sent it out to, I think I sent it out to probably like 50 different companies. And, you know, PNB was always like at the top, but I was shocked when I got an email back from Peter that like my materials looked good. I was like, really? Like you thought me on video was like good enough? Like, wow. And, you know, he asked me if I could do a Zoom audition, like, and I was like, of course, yes, right away. But it was super strange, you know. I'd never done anything like that before. It ended up being a Zoom open class that I took, so I was the only professional there. I didn't see Peter on the screen, or I didn't see anybody else besides like the teacher and the 4 other people who were taking the class. And so I was like, is this even working? Like, did he even see me? Like, it was very strange, but you know, it worked out, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's wonderful. What about you, Gina?
So, kind of like James and Lily, PNB, it's an amazing company. It's one of the top companies in, the country and the world. And Carla Corbez, who used to be a principal here, she was one of my teachers at IU. And so, she was like very encouraging and just, it was nice to have that connection, and she actually helped me with my audition video because I did the Diamonds solo from the Scherzo as my variation, and she coached me over Zoom for it. And so I got to, because that was like one of like her roles that she was known for. So that was really nice and special. And then Peter asked me to take company class over Zoom, which was very scary. Because kind of like what James was saying, it's nice to go to the company and like feel it out, feel the people, because I never did a summer course or anything. So it would have been nice to have come here before, moving. Like that first day was very intimidating because I had never been here before. But yeah, so that's one thing I do miss, but it was nice saving money, not traveling. So yeah.
And I would think that you would have had a really wonderful opportunity to curate your video. Like if you had had a bad day in an in-person audition, like that's your audition. Whereas with a video, if you had a bad day in the studio, you come back and you do it again until it's what you want to really show.
Although I do think I would have preferred to do my company class in person over Zoom because I could barely hear Peter over Zoom. And the studio I was in was not ideal. The floor was very slippery because it was like where they would put the babies at Ballet West. So yeah, and then his class is very hard, I think. So it would have been nicer in person than on my slippery floor all by myself.
And it is really hard to hear Zoom in those studios because the ceilings are so high, it just like all echoes.
Yeah.
100%
so
echo.
So when I got that email that he wanted to like have a phone call, I was like, really?
That's awesome. And Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm following you guys. And I have to say that the financial aspect of auditioning, that was kind of sweet, but unfortunately, during Zoom, doing audition through Zoom, it's challenges. The studio was too cold. The floor was not specific to us dancers, but also I auditioned very early last year. So I believe that it was also really hard to find studio time and so on. But that was my kind of audition process. But yeah, knowing that Peter was interested, I was like, oh, I was so surprised, and I was very happy about it too, because I've been watching PNB forever on YouTube. And then again, and that's so important, having Pharrell Cruz, I looked at him, one of my idols. And also having Carla Corbez, who is a Brazilian ballerina. And I'm a Brazilian as well. So you see both representations on both sides, but not only the two of them, the many ballet dancers who came through PNB. And I watched World Ballet Day as well, which is a really great way to observe the company and how the company works and etc. And I have to go with James on that one. The rap that PNB performs, oh my goodness, it's a very diverse rap. We go from Ulysses Doves, from Twyla Tharp, Ballerine, you name it. And so it's very wealthy repertoire, and I truly love that. And getting here, Gina, I'm with you on that. I also felt a little bit intimidated, but once again, the support that was in place, not only coming from the staff, but from the dancers and everyone around in the building, just made us feel, or it made me feel like, okay, this is home. And there are moments where I feel like, oh my God, is this the right decision? Oh my God, it's a new ballet. I get a little anxious about things. But again, you have people here who are supportive of the journey. And it makes it much better. And yeah, this is home now.
All right, my last question that I'm really excited to hear all of you answer. Is there a particular rep, a particular story ballet, or a particular piece within a rep that you are so looking forward to this year more than anything else? So what are you most looking forward to? Lily, let's start with you.
Okay, 1 second. Because you cut out a lot, and I'm going to read what the question was. Rep, story ballet, or piece within a rep? That I'm most looking forward to this season? Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, honestly, this season when I found out what we were doing, I was like just beside myself. Like, we're doing Romeo and Juliet, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I saw the premiere of when PNB added it to the rep, but I saw it at some point when I was a teenager, and my mom and I were just like, oh my God, that is the most beautiful ballet like we've ever seen. I love that version, the Malco version. I'm super excited for the Justin Peck ballet that we're doing, I think in March, and Plot Point, which that we just started rehearsing for this week. Was that this week? Oh my God.
It was, yes, Monday.
Yeah, crazy. I think that those two pieces are, they're super different, but they're so, I think, just important to like where ballet is right now, and it's so cool that we get to do them. And then also, I mean, I never thought I would say this, but I'm honestly looking forward to Nutcracker this year. I missed it last year. I not only was there a pandemic, but I was injured. Everybody was missing out on it, and not just dancers, but people and their holiday traditions. Like, they didn't get to have that last year, and so I'm so excited to do the Balanchine version again and just bring that holiday spirit for everybody.
Well, let's hope it stays holiday spirity backstage. I think everyone's a little bit excited for Nutcracker.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. Gina, what about you?
I'm really excited for the Alonzo King piece. We're going to be starting that soon. And I was talking to Keon yesterday, and he said that he's going to come back and maybe do a little workshopping. So I'm super excited for that because I've never gotten to work with him, and I heard that the way he works with his dancers is very inspiring, and he really pushes them to think in new ways. So I think that'll be a super cool experience. And then I'm also excited for Romeo and Juliet. I've only seen clips of it, and then it was so fun watching them do the pas de deux in the first look. That was just absolutely incredible. I was like, I can't wait to see the rest of it and be a part of it too. So yeah, that's what and then I'm also looking forward to Nutcracker. I'm excited for the push and to just feel super in shape and indestructible.
Yay. Jonathan, what about you?
I'm excited about this next rep. This is those on the front porch of heaven. and also to work, hopefully, with Mr. Alonso King. And I'm excited for Nutcracker because it's just that family time. The families in the audience. And it's been a while since we've seen families enjoying the Nutcracker. The audience is larger than ever. And I think we're going to have a great time. But also, I'm excited for Romeo and Juliet because I've always watched Nolani and James performing, and I'm a huge fan. But also Nolani and Lucienne, them forever on YouTube, and now I can watch it live too. And Swan Lake. That's it.
Okay, so like the whole season.
Yeah.
Just a few small full ballets.
Yeah.
James, what about you?
I similarly, it's hard for me to choose one favorite, but I think Plot Point. I've been such a big fan of Crystal Pite's work as an aspiring choreographer. I think she's my heroine. She's such a lovely person in all of her interviews, and her work is so brilliant. And Alonzo King as well. I've done, I think, 3 summer intensives at Lines Ballet, so I'm a really big fan of his. I think, like Jonathan, Swan Lake actually. It's one of the most beautiful classical scores that we have to dance to, and so being on stage with that music and feeling the history of that ballet sort of carry you forward is surreal, and it has this magic to it. Especially if there's any moment that you get to be on stage by yourself, there's this sort of serene, like, glow almost that the orchestra just sort of swells and you get carried away. And I think that's what I love about dancing the most is being lost and then finding myself through that. So that was a long answer. I'm sorry.
Well, and that was so beautifully stated. I think to end our conversation, that was such a beautiful sentiment, James. Thank you all for spending your lunch hour with me. I really appreciate it. Welcome to all of you. We're so excited to have you. And I really look forward to watching what you all do this season and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.